The first thing that is true in a learning culture is that failure is essential. The important experiences are all the failures. It's the things that don't work that show us what needs to be changed. If everything worked, then you wouldn't be here. But there's things that are not working, and you say, okay, now what? It's our errors and mistakes that give us the data we need to learn and make the changes that bring us to solutions. I wish this was something I said, but it's actually Edgar Schein. And Edgar Schein, if you don't know who he is a researcher, a sociologist, a social psychologist who's now 85 years old and has been studying human interaction and organizational interactions for 65 years. And bottom line, over and over again, it's how we handle mistakes in a system that determines whether or not we're a learning organization. Now think about this at the classroom level. How do you handle student errors? People say, oh, I want my kids to think. I want my kids to be problem solvers. The minute a kid makes a mistake, we do a couple of things. One, we correct them. Or two, we go, anybody want to help them out? Which basically means you got the wrong answer. Instead of, well, wait a minute, how did you get that answer? Tell me more about your thinking. How interesting. Is anybody thinking about it differently? Will you want to talk to him about how you're thinking about it? How are mistakes handled? How safe is it for a teacher to actually try on an innovative idea that may not have come from on high, but maybe just an idea that I have that could help these kids? How safe is that to do it? Think about learning anything new. Think about learning to play tennis. How many times, how many lessons, how many practice games did you have to do before you got good at it? So where is the permission in the system for us to be imperfect, to be messy and not so pretty as we're trying on new practices? So when the principal comes down the hall and looks in my classroom and I'm new at trying to get kids to really talk to each other and I miss half the opportunities that I could have capitalized on, the principal doesn't look at the opportunities I missed, but notices that I now got caught half of them. That there's something changing in my practice that now gives me permission to catch 3/4 of them next time. So it's focusing on where the improvements are taking place, where little things are starting to pop, and then encouraging, sparking that fire that moves the practice. And notice the word, practice. That's what teaching is called, practice. And practice is not pretty, generally. Also, practice is very specific. So one of the big issues in education is like, what practice is an important one for me to be working on that is manageable for me to get good at so that I could practice the next thing? So highlighting and figuring out what is the essence of effective teaching, not all the paraphernalia around it. I don't care whether your kids are sitting in groups of 4. I don't care whether the objective's on the board. Did your kids learn something today? What they learn important enough to matter in their lives? Then show me how you're doing it. Show me what matters to you. Now we got to be able to name that and then spread it. The hardest thing in education is spreading the practices that actually work and naming what the heck they are. Which one is it that matters? Because we can't work on 20 of them at the same time.